Now, let's talk about the customer segments part of the business model canvas. And this is the first time that we have to connect the dots because we've just gone through the value propositions, but the value propositions are not in a vacuum. They are for someone or something, and that someone and something is precisely your customer. So now you can think about your customer separately, you can think about your value proposition separately, but at the end of the day, they have to be a fantastic match. Now let's talk about how to make that match great. Before we can get into matching the value proposition to customer segments, we have to actually think through different customer segments. There can be two different ones. For example, some businesses have multiple types of customer segments. For example, sites that have buyers and sellers, like dating sites, which obviously have two types of people coming together. Content sites like YouTube, which has content creators and content consumers. Service sites like maybe Upwork or Fiverr, and they have service providers and service buyers. Retail sites like Amazon, where people have sellers and you have buyers. So you can have two extremely different types of customer segments, but you can also have, even within a single customer segment, let's say for this course, students in this course can be extremely different. They can be hobbyists, or they can be first-time entrepreneurs. They can be retirees. They can be college age. They can be on their second career. There's all kinds of different people, and they're going to have far different interests and very different buying habits. So you have to identify the customer who really needs you and is able to pay as well. So let's use this course as an example. Ideally, it's for people who are starting a business and actually have time to take a course, because a lot of entrepreneurs are stressed out and they feel like they don't have time and they can't learn. So it has to be people who actually can take a course, and entrepreneurs don't have a lot of money. So it has to be people who really understand the value of education, and the people who are interested in the course or hobbyists, they're okay. But the ideal person is first-time entrepreneur, passionately working now, maybe a little confused, and precisely because they are confused, they're looking for help, and they might have looked for coaches. Coaches were too expensive, maybe something else that was too difficult for whatever else solution they have. And so they came for courses. Courses have a perfect mix of it's easy, it's relatively inexpensive, it's available anytime, and usually they provide good help relatively quickly. And I want to leave you with one example, and I see my clients running into this issue all the time, especially clients in like a service business, any kind of freelance or agency business. What happens is they start reaching out maybe through LinkedIn or email, and they start promoting their services. Let's say they're selling some kind of marketing service. They're promoting, and they're spamming people and reaching out and getting into this cumbersome sales processes. What's the problem there? We don't know how badly these people need the service. What's more ideal is if these people find you, if you position your business so that your customers who really need you now find you, then if you have a course, for example, or a marketing service, then the people who need whatever you're selling, they're already looking for what you're selling. And the people who come by looking for what you're selling are really ideal, very strong leads and a fantastic match for your customer segment. So sometimes that is a good way to think about it as well, because that's very practical, because that immediately starts to shape your marketing channels. Are you going to do the outreach through LinkedIn or email? Well, you don't know how many people you're reaching, you're spamming, versus you can position your business to get discovered through search. So only the ideal customer segment comes to you, and you don't have to get involved in cumbersome extended sales process. And of course, to understand your customer, once you identify your value proposition, the best thing to do, and there's no replacement for it, is to actually, once you theoretically identify who's your target market, that ideal type of person, go and seek them out physically or online and start to have these conversations and literally ask those questions. Does my value proposition suit your needs? And they'll tell you in that conversation. If you have a sample of a few people like this, you'll get the answer of whether your assumptions are correct. If no, you'll be able to adjust those assumptions based on your conversation. And if yes, that is great. You have connected the value proposition to the customer segments, so you know what value will reach which ideal group. And so that's the nucleus really of your business model.